another day on earth today. And I'd like to ask that you lead us and guide us in all the decisions that we make tonight to the best benefit of the town and the citizens of the town. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I see we got the referee crowd on this side. No music boys.
You got that.
First on the agenda, do I hear a motion for approval of previous minutes?
I make a motion.
I'll second it. Aye.
Yes.
Okay, next, we have the appointment of council members to fill vacancy. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open up the floor for nominations.
I nominate Jerry Hearn.
I'll second it.
Jerry, you wanna say anything? Would you like to say anything? I said, would you like to say something?
No, I
Okay.
appreciate the nomination.
Okay. Any other nominations to fill the vacancy?
Don't have my hearing aids in tonight.
Okay. All right, at this time, I'll close the floor, and I'm gonna go ahead and act, do I hear a motion to go?
I make a motion.
I'll second it.
All right,
Aye.
What was that? I'm sorry.
there's a motion on the floor for Mr. Herring to fill the vacancy of Councilman who lost.
Right. And three yeses ahead of me?
Yes.
No.
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 Three. And then James is off. He had a family member in maybe ICU in Johnson City. I'm not sure. And at this time, I'd like to go ahead, since we've got a nominee, I'd like to go ahead and do the sworn in. Just go ahead and do it all right now.
Can you take the oath right now, Jerry?
Yeah.
How do you want your name on this? C. Jerry Heron, like
It's Jerry Hearn.
just call it. Just raise your right hand, I'll read it, and you can just say, I do, when I complete it. I, Jerry Heron, having been appointed as council member for the town of Cedar Bluff, Virginia, for a term ending December 31st, 2018, do solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Virginia, that I will faithfully and impartially discharge all the duties incumbent on me as council member according to the best of my ability, so help me God. Okay, you just sign.
There's one in the packet right there. There's one in the packet. Thank you. Yeah, right there. Okay, next, we're gonna do public comments. John Asher, if you wanna come up, I'll let you go first. Let the biggest guy in the room go first.
I don't know, Joe Green's the biggest. I'm the
I
tallest
didn't
and
say
fattest.
muscular.
Hey, you know, I want to thank you all, and thank everyone coming out tonight. Cedar Bluff has been my hometown for many, many years, ever since my parents bought the furniture store from Coy Horn. I was 15 years old. I feel like I grew up here. I cut my teeth here. You know, when my dad was on the board of supervisors, he used cold severance funds and funded the sidewalks from Richlands High School all the way down into Cedar Bluff. Did he not, Jim?
He did.
And, you know, Cedar Bluff, I love Cedar Bluff, and I want to commend this board for the fire department. Johnny Smith, I mean, he grabbed the bull by the horns. Richlands had us over a barrel, and, you know, they was bullying us. We all know, Terry knows, everybody knows that Tim Trent was on the board then, and I think Kenny Shepherd was as well. They was strong arming us, and, you know, they kept raising the rates. Of course, they was having some cash flow troubles there, so, you know, I realize a lot of people say the fire department's cost the town a lot of money, but all the money that I've gave away to the town of Cedar Bluff is close to $90,000 that I have gave since I've been on the board of supervisors to this town. But I feel like that's our biggest victory, really. We're not beholden to Richlands. That sort of broke us away, and you know, I commend this board. I commend Tim Trent, Jim McLaughlin. I think he's did a phenomenal job. I know Jim's heart's in the right place. You know, I've heard in the past of some members slamming the fire department. You know, you know, I thank God for Johnny Smith, man, for, you know, the previous supervisor before me. It seemed like almost he was anti-Cedar Bluff. I've always been for Cedar Bluff. My parents have a store, business here in the town, and anyway, I got you all a check. I called Jim McLaughlin and asked him. He said, I said, how much money are you going to need before I go out of office, Jim? And he said, and John, $7,500 would set us free. I'm telling you, I said, how would $15,000 do? Oh, that'd be great. That'd be great. So I want to present you a check for $15,000 from the Western District. I think it's crucial moving forward. You know, I've always had a good relationship. Not always. I've always, you know, anytime you're in politics, you're going to have strong wheels and people, you know, different personalities. And, you know, me and Jerry Herons, we butted heads time and again, but I always stepped up and helped Cedar Bluff. Anytime Linda Singleton needed money for the Cedar Bluff Festival, I always did that. And, you know, this is my town. I love this town. So I just encourage you all to reach out to Tom Lester. I know that he'll go above and beyond, and he'll be a great supervisor. So I thank you all.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate it.
Our towns are Tazewell County's jewels, so we really appreciate the support, John. Very proud of you.
Any more public comment?
I'm Doug Brenton, I'm East Hillcrest Drive, Cedar Bluff, and I'm here on behalf of the Chamber, Ginger Branton. She's presenting this package to Richlands Town Council right now. She'll be here a little bit later, so it's going to be an update on the countywide chamber. So I've got some package for y'all.
Sure.
To get out there.
Is there anything you want to go over in the packet, or is it something she's going to talk about?
She's going to come over.
Okay.
She's at Richlands now doing her presentation.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I'll let her speak when she comes in. Any more public comments? Come on, Ben.
My name's John Smith, 720 Middle Creek Road.
What's that name?
John Smith. That's real, and I've got a birth certificate to prove it. I want to just come by and say a few things. I got a couple of things on my mind that I wanted to say. And number one is I apologize. I haven't been in meetings more. We've been busy. And I want to come by and congratulate our mayor on being mayor. And something that a lot of folks fail to do that I wanted to come by and do is just be real thankful to our mayor, to the council, and to the people of Cedar Bluff. You've got an unthankful job to do, and not many people come by and thank you, as I'm well aware of that. And I just want to come by and thank you for what you do. The town manager or lawyer, and everybody involved, work hard. I had another thing on my mind I want to say a few words about. I've heard some disturbance in town about different things that's going on, and things that's reckoning in town, causing a lot of diversity, and I've heard talk on both sides. Accusation against the town manager and different ones. And I want to come by and state my opinion on that. I think probably I'm more qualified than anybody I know of to speak about this. Some few years ago, I was minding my own business, running my own business, had no intention of getting in politics, as small as it was to us, but some folks come by and told me that Mr. McLaughlin was writing checks off the town for his self-benefit. They said other folks were using money from the town for their own benefits. They said that several things were going on with equipment for the benefit of certain people. And Mr. McLaughlin was named number one. I decided to run for mayor because I thought something bad was going on. And I did run for mayor, and I won. And I thank the citizens for that. My chief thing for me to be mayor was to get rid of Mr. McLaughlin. I came on board. First time I met Mr. McLaughlin, a day after election, he was leaving outside front with a for sale sign in his hand. And after our introductions, I asked him what the sign was for. He said, well, I'm putting my house up for sale, I'm resigning to town, I'm leaving. And I told Mr. McLaughlin that I did not come to see him lose his job or to relieve him of his job if I could persuade the council to do so. I came to check into everything, make sure everything was above board or under board, ever what situation. First thing that I did after I got here, I called a state police investigation. We had several auditors come in. We audited 3 different banks. They went over all the audits, and we found everything to be above board and to be right. I found myself, instead of believing that there were checks wrote, I went over every individual check. I went over all the audit. After a few days, I was glad that I asked Mr. McLaughlin to give me a little time to go over it. I found Mr. McLaughlin to be above board, to have done everything right, and I consider myself pretty neat, but he done it better than I did. And I hear things now that disturbs me, and I wanted to come by and tell you, it's my 2 years of being mayor, I grew to respect and honor our town manager and our council and our lawyer and everybody involved with the government body of Cedar Bluff. I am out of that. I'm running my own business. I don't need any enemies. I'm not here for enemies. I am here to say that I personally went over the books. The state police went over the books. The auditors went over the books. We found nothing wrong. I wanted to tell Mr. McLaughlin that I fully trust him. I would probably trust him with the deed to my house if he told me he'd give it back to me. That's about all that I've really got to say. I think we got a good town. I think we've got a good thing going. I've had people call me in the last month saying they were thinking about moving their business out of town. I encouraged them to stay with the town, and I thought everything would work out. I asked the council and the public, smooth things out. Get together, build, make stronger, don't tear down. I fully believe that a bee should not build a nest in the eave of my house. That bee has no business building a nest in the eve of my house. Things will happen, unavoidable, things that we cannot prevent. But I can tell you right now, I'm not burning my house down just to get rid of that bee. We need to be cautious about what we do. I want to thank the mayor, thank the council, thank the citizens, but I want to pour my heart out for a job well done as far as I can see. I was accused after the investigation of buying the state police off, of buying 3 banks off, of buying I don't know who off. I said then, I'll say now, I have more money than the town of City Bluff. I'm not saying that in a boastful way. I probably work more people than the town of City Bluff. I cannot afford to buy the state police off, the banks off, and everybody else off just so we can steal a few dollars. There may be some things that's not up to everybody's credit, that it's not worth destroying our town over. We need to pull ourselves together, take a deep breath. I hope I get to be back in more meetings, but I did want to take time out to come and say this to everybody. It's easy to talk, it's easy to think, it's easy to say I believe. That gets us in confusion. When I heard about the uproar in Texas the other day, I said it could be Cedar Bluff. I've been in enough fusses and feuds and saw it explode till it was not worth it after it's all over with. I urge the council and the town, we need to be quiet on what we think. Be quiet on what we believe. Be outspoken on what we know. I thank you.
Thank you.
Any more public comments? Anybody? York? Good. All right, next on the agenda, proclamation of Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month. Jim's going to read this for us.
Whereas the health and safety of all Virginians is important to the happiness, prosperity, and well-being of our Commonwealth's families and communities. And whereas in 2017, an estimated 1,060 Virginians will be diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. And whereas there are no effective early detection methods presently available, and most symptoms are vague and could be attributed to other conditions. Whereas when symptoms of pancreatic cancer become apparent, it is usually after the cancer has advanced and spread to other organs. Whereas 73% of pancreatic cancer patients die within the first year of diagnosis, and 94% die within 5 years of diagnosis. Whereas each case of pancreatic cancer is a tragedy that devastates patients and their loved ones. Whereas the good health and well-being of the residents of Virginia are enhanced as a direct result of increased awareness about pancreatic cancer research of early detection, cause, and effective treatments, whereas throughout the month of November, organizations and health practitioners in Virginia are encouraged to take the opportunity to promote awareness about pancreatic cancer and to support those patients currently battling pancreatic cancer and those who have lost loved ones to this horrible disease. And Lee Dye, Mayor of Cedar Bluff, Virginia, does hereby recognize November 2017 as Pancreatic Cancer Awareness Month in the town of Cedar Bluff and calls this observance to the attention of all of our citizens.
I think Kenny, maybe lost his wife to pancreatic cancer, and they do this, last year, I remember when they did this, so it's a good thing. Okay, next is Crossroad Engineers, y'all guys wanna come up? Or one?
Hey, Mr. Brown's not here. He said whenever I give the report, it's good news, and if Darren talks, it's bad news. So anyway, it is good news tonight. We submitted for funding for some sewer work back, it's been, I guess, a couple months ago now, and we were awarded some funding. We just found out, I think it was last week, that we were awarded some funding. It wasn't all we asked for, but it was a good start, and it will, that project will allow us to kind of get in a little closer detail and install some flow meters and do some things in town to figure out where the real problem with the I&I issue is, because we know that that's a big burden on the town as far as the sewer goes. Whenever it rains and things like that, we get a lot of flow, and Cedar Bluff pays for all that water that is treated. And that's unfortunate because a lot of times it is rainwater and things like that that doesn't need to be in the sewer system. So that's a positive thing. We will get started on that soon. We're going to have to scale the scope back a little bit from what we asked for, but we did get a pretty good deal on that, and it was all grant funds, so there would be no no loan component, anything that has to be paid back for that. So that's a good thing. The water system, we have one project now that's funded through the health department. Rick has been working on that. We have got 2 of the lines installed. I think they finished up Schrader and also Alice Avenue. There are a couple other lines that have to be installed. I know it's tough as far as the getting the guys to be able to focus on that with all the other things going on in town. We would like to see that kind of get pushed forward if the council can maybe spare a little bit of help for Rick. I know he's still got 2 lines to put in. We'd like to be able to go back this spring for funding for some more work, but we'll need to get that wrapped up prior to that. And if we can get that wrapped up by February or first part of March, that'll really let us go back in and with a completed project, we'll just look at the next phase of that. So I know it's, like I said, it's tough with staff and all the other things going on, but anyway, if you could put a little thought on that and see if maybe there's some help that could be applied to those specific projects to finish them up, that would be very beneficial. So that's really all I got. If you got any questions on anything that's going on? That grant was from the health department. The grant for the sewer work was from Cumberland Plateau. They provided the funds for that. So, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, Linda.
Linda Singleton, 109 Singleton Lane. I first just wanted to thank our police department for being present and giving out candy to all of the children on Halloween. That really went over well, and the kids loved that and had a great evening. Next, the Business and Professional Association, we sponsored our yearly Veterans Day Parade. This was with the Cedar Bluff Elementary School on Friday, November the 10th. And we served lunch to our veterans at the fire station and after the parade, and afterwards the Cedar Bluff Elementary School had their program for the veterans, so they had a full, wonderful day. A special thanks to the Cedar Bluff Fire Department, the chief, and volunteers who decorated and just had it looking so nice for all the veterans that were up there that day. During the parade, also we wanted to thank the Cedar Bluff Police Chief, Sean, and his department for all you did to help us with the traffic during the parade. We thank you. And also, we want to thank our town manager, Jim McLaughlin, for your helping make sure that all of our flags were up. They just looked beautiful as they were marching down the street. And we thank you for your help for all the employees of the town that put up signs and help us get the word out. It was just a great day to see all the school children out waving their flags. We had some World War II veterans riding in that parade, and honest, I wish you could have seen if you did not see it here. They were absolutely just overcome. And all the veterans said to thank the town of Cedar Bluff for allowing them to participate in the day here at Cedar Bluff. So they want to thank you for that. These guys that was parade marshals, the World War II guys, they were just very, very pleased. I want to tell you about our next event, which is our Christmas concert in the town square. That's coming up. Terry Hall is going to be directing our middle school students, our high school students. They're going to be doing a performance out in the town square, and this is going to be on December the 18th. It's going to be at 6 o'clock, so mark your calendars. The cookies are going to be provided by the Richlands Women's Club, and hot chocolate and wassail is going to be served by Singleton Funeral Service. And this event is sponsored also by Cedar Bluff Business and Professional Association. And we'd like to thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to the Flag Association does for the town.
Well,
Really appreciate
thank you
it.
all. We appreciate it. We want to see each and every one of you at this event, okay? Thank you.
Town manager's report.
Okay, I think I put a copy in your packet, but the town did receive a litter control grant award of $1,006. Kevin Sutherland with Crossroads mentioned the sewer system grant by Criminal Plateau Planning District Commission. And the amount of that award was $30,000, and was really excited for how our engineers will be able to use that to help us identify some problem areas with their sewer system. We've done major improvements on our water system the past couple of years, and we're really thrilled that we're going to get to start working on the sewer system. They did complete a couple of years ago with a separate grant, a mapping of their sewer system, so this is the next step in improvements to our sewer system. I did put together a historic Cedar Bluff walking tour brochure this month. I've got copies here if any of you want to see that. Hopefully we can get those distributed around some area businesses. And also the 90-day probationary period that I appointed Sean Short for acting chief of police is up. And he did an excellent job. I was very impressed with the way he took the reins and really stepped up to the plate, and I have no complaints. He's done a great job for the past 3 months, and I hope that you all have seen his work and seen the results of that. So I'd like to ask that council approve my appointment of Sean Short as Chief of Police of Cedar Bluff, Virginia.
Can I make a comment on that? The school and a few of the businesses has really talked how good the police department has come to the front on. Said it's the best it's been in quite a few years. Sean is really doing a good job.
I make a motion to appoint Sean as permanent chief.
I'll second.
Aye.
Yes.
And Sean, first order of business as official chief of police, will you introduce our new police officer?
Absolutely. When I took over in August, we were shorthanded, and we went a month being really shorthanded. Michael Brown, if he wants to stand up here. He's an Air Force veteran. He's got 17 years experience with the Sheriff's Department investigations, and I think he's going to do a great job with the town of Cedar Bluff.
That's awesome.
Been really impressed with your work, Mike. We're really glad to have you aboard.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Tell him I was the law.
Yeah, that's
That's what my 6-year-old says, I'm the law. So make sure you know that. That tickles. That's what I always got. Okay, next is the payment of bills. Any questions? No questions on the bills?
The two Altizer Tire and Automotive checks, 25264, 25287.
25264?
and 25287.
Those, the biggest part of that was new tires for our tractor that also had to be filled with antifreeze. That was the most expensive part of that bill. And also, the other one was some repairs to the garbage.
To the garbage truck.
Do you remember exactly what they did? We had some repairs to the garbage truck and new tires for the town tractor. But the larger amount of that was the tires. For
Is that the welding and stuff like that?
And I believe that was time before. I believe this one had to do with electrical problem. At 520 was just them two back tires and putting antifreeze on them. That antifreeze was outrageous. I'd have put beet juice in it if I thought it was in that high.
Fluid and switch,
Yeah,
labor.
yeah. That switch and stuff on the back end.
25302 English Ivy Garden and Gifts.
That was, some, I think memorial or some flower, that's a flower shop, of course. It was sent to our fire chief's mother's funeral.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Anybody else? Do I hear a motion to?
Make a motion to approve payment.
I second.
Ken?
Aye.
Aye.
Yes.
You got the town reports, Ken?
The police department issued 28 calls this month. They conducted 4 checking details, issued 13 summonses, 2 town tickets, patrolled 2,790 miles, and done 3 special assignments this month. One that represented the Seniors Day in Tazewell, and then they participated in the Regal Out program over at the elementary school, and then they done a Halloween safety program for the town.
I think we did the crossroads in the today. Rick had expressed me that he did have
Okay. Good, okay, that's all the reports. Next is unfinished business. Any unfinished business?
Any progress on the Gillespie property, as far as cleaning it up?
Just got it scheduled, but they haven't got to it yet, but it is on the schedule. That's to be done.
And the business that's not paying its meals tax and purchasing a business license, are we headed anywhere on that?
The deadline runs out November 25th.
And then if it's nothing, well, I guess we'll just wait on the deadline. I'll ask next month about it.
Anything else, unfinished business?
Last month when I was speaking about the, what I see as discrepancies in our financial information in our council packet, Mr. Trent made the suggestion that possibly I approach the auditors with that and have them maybe look at it. And I'd like to put your recommendation in the form of a motion possibly of having Mr., I guess first thing, Jim, have they finished the town's financial statements for fiscal 2017 yet?
No, they have all the documents.
Okay.
Working on it right now.
Okay, I'd like to make the motion that once that's completed, that we have Mr. Brown's firm compare the year-end financial information in our council packet to the financial statement that his firm compiles, and to give us a recommendation as to how to improve the accuracy of the financial information in our packets that we're provided monthly.
Do I hear a second? A second. All right, next, any more unfinished business?
Is this where you would like me to, the overtime committee, Mr. Mayor, or where would you like me to do it now?
Well,
or-
it's unfinished, so that's what we had.
Okay.
Go ahead.
As part of looking into this, I've requested access to pay stubs and timesheets from the town. I currently am being denied access to those, and I'm getting conflicting statements from employees and the management of the town regarding how overtime has been recorded and compensated. Being able to review pay stubs and timesheets will be the only way I see that I'll be able to make a definitive report as to whether employees have been compensated correctly or not. So at this point, my report is incomplete. Hopefully, I'll be able to give a full report next month. My understanding is, Mr. Carmody, that you're recommending to the town manager to not allow me access at this time. Is that correct?
As I understand it from the Virginia Municipal League, the actual pay records of the employees are not one of the things that's covered by the Freedom of Information Act. And so it's up in the air whether or not members of the town council have some exception to that rule or not. It may be useful to explore the question further and find out exactly what the limits are for what things can and can't be revealed about personnel records.
And the overtime, our overtime policy has been made, I've explained to the employees in the past what our overtime policy is. They should be aware of it. I'm aware of no discrepancies on their part. I would certainly encourage any employee to let me know if there was. But overtime is pretty rare within the town employees to start with, and they're certainly free to be fairly compensated for any overtime that does happen to occur.
I've been out of the loop for almost a year, and I don't understand what Mr. Altheimer's problem is with overtime. I've talked to several employees, and nobody has a problem with overtime.
I definitely have one set of pay stubs and timesheets of an hourly employee who was compensated 1-to-1 for their overtime. My conversation with Jim the other day, that is how hourly employees were compensated up until a call from the Department of Labor, at which time they then went to an hour and a half to 1 hour. I also still have remaining questions as to the compensation of non-exempt and exempt salaried employees that I'm looking into. So to say that there was not a problem with the overtime here, I think is a misstatement.
Mr. McLaughlin, have you ever had any complaints from any employees as to their pay for overtime, or have any employee approached you?
I'm an employee right now, and plus the fellow employees that I have with me have been telling me they have no problem with overtime. If they work any over at all, they take it off before the 40 hours is up. They have no problem with overtime.
I think where all this is coming from is when Mr. Altheimer's wife was employed by the town. Now, this is just my opinion. I think that's where most of this is coming from, and I don't see any other problem with it.
I would agree with that statement. That is how I found out that we were not following the Fair Labor Standards Act. But to say that that is the reason, I'm not here to tear this town down, contrary to popular belief. I mean, you have to look at the things I've tried to do here. All I'm trying to do is see that our employees were compensated correctly. I don't think it would tear this town down if we stopped writing checks to people who owe money to this town. I don't think it would tear this town and just bring it to its knees if we collected delinquent taxes that are owed to this town and other debts that are owed to us. Now, I agree with you, Mr. Herron, that was the reason that I did start looking into it. But the main reason is, as my job as councilman, I took a sworn oath to support the Constitution of the United States. One of those laws is the Fair Labor Standards Act. And if our employees were not just my wife, but if all town employees or anyone other than her was not compensated correctly, it needs to be corrected.
But that ought to be up to the individual employee.
It's not. It's up to the federal government.
And one of the issues, Jerry, was that the employee was specifically in writing told they were not authorized to work overtime.
Terry was told not to work authorized to work overtime because he was affected too, Jim. You admitted that yourself the other day. I'm not looking to get into a tit for tat for this because everything I've tried to do in this council meeting is not a result of my wife's termination. I just want to put that out there too. I've heard those rumors and I want to squash them right now.
But your own words to me were, you terminate my wife, I'll go over this town. I'll be in your face every month. So that was your own words.
That is a
To me.
lie.
No, it ain't.
That is a lie.
Your own words to me.
But surely it would bring this town to its knees if we stopped writing checks to people that owe money to it.
Mr. Alcott, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Of course, I'm sure the public don't know this, but one of the check numbers you called out last month, you stated that I owed the town money?
No, sir, I did not.
Yes, you did.
Listen.
How much did I owe the town?
Listen to the recording,
How
Mr.
much did I
Shepherd.
pay?
Listen to the recording. I said I could not definitively say you owe because that's another
Why did you
problem.
call out the check?
That's another problem that I tried to address in the first couple of months when I came here. One of the first motions I made was for us to create a list of delinquent personal property and real estate taxes that we can say with certainty are delinquent and collectible.
Can you say with certainty then that I owed the town money?
I never said that. In fact, if you'll listen to the recording that I record every month,
I listened to you.
Well, I heard it too, he did.
listen to the
Quote your
recording.
check number and accuse, insinuate that that person owed the town money, which was yours.
No, I did
Which was
not.
false.
I said when I see evidence of any evidence whatsoever that we're writing checks to anyone who may owe money to this town, I'm voting no on payment of the bills. Listen to the recording. Although this town stopped making recordings when I started requesting them, I now make my own so that my words cannot be misinterpreted. Now, I said right up front, I cannot say whether that check was, that was wrote to you that you owed or not.
You called it out.
I called the check number out. And I said at that time, I cannot say, because this town doesn't know who owes it
You
taxes.
didn't say that. You said,
Listen to the recording.
I'm not, well, I'm
I
not.
know you're
arguing with you. I know what you said.
Okay, so I'll just go on with the committee report, if I may, Mr. Mayor. Okay, I would agree with you, Mr. Carmody, that it appears that some information contained on pay stubs and timesheets is exempt from mandatory FOIA disclosure. But that does not mean that those records must be withheld. In fact, those public records may be disclosed at the discretion of the custodian of those records. Therefore, for me to be able to determine conclusively whether our employees have been compensated correctly for their overtime in the name of, and also in the name of transparency, I ask if the town treasurer will use his discretion to allow me to review those employee pay stubs and timesheets.
I've had several employees tell me they don't want you seeing any of the records, and no, I will not voluntarily provide those.
Okay, now I make the motion that the council allow me to review those pay stubs and timesheets that I need and able to determine whether our employees have been compensated correctly for their overtime.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
Okay, to finish my report, Mr. Mayor, there is,
Hold on.
okay.
There's no second. And that was what you was talking about, your report. There was no second on that.
No second on the motion to allow me access to the
Right.
pay stubs and timesheets by the council. I'll ask that, like I say, that's incomplete at this time. Are you looking into that, Mr. Carmody, as to whether a council member, I know, John, did you have something, some input on that maybe? Or no?
I was just gonna ask Carmody if he wasn't real sure what we do in the board meetings. Eric Young, he'll write a letter to the Attorney General and just give an opinion. You know, that's all I was gonna say, as far as undisclosing all the timesheets or whatever. I was just gonna make that recommendation to Mr. Carmody.
Actually, I had that same recommendation here, but the way that my motions go, there was very much possibility of it getting passed. But I mean, that would certainly be an option here is, now I don't, as to, I mean, me as a citizen under the FOIA, a town councilman has no more rights than any of you do. So I'm not asking as through the FOIA, I'm asking as in my official capacity as a councilman of the town of Cedar Bluff. But I'm sure that would take a motion to have, would that take a motion to have you write that letter, Mr. Carmen?
It would.
I'll make that motion.
Do I hear a second? Okay, no second. Let's move on.
Okay, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to keep it, if I can develop a complete report that I have confidence in next month, I'd like the opportunity to try to, because I do have a couple other avenues I'm exploring as to get the information I need. Okay?
All right, any more unfinished business? All right, let's move on to new business. Any new business?
I've had a couple of citizen complaints about employees' personal and work vehicles occupying the spaces out here in front for the parking, that they come by and that there's employee work vehicles and personal vehicles have all the spaces occupied. I wonder possibly if we could send out a memo to the employees, possibly to have the employees with their personal vehicles and work vehicles over here on the side and leave these spots open out front for our citizens.
Is there any certain way that you have
We can't do that?
Just open parking. Do you want to make a motion to send out a memo?
I don't know.
No?
No, I tried. I mean,
Okay.
I promised those people I would ask for that to be done, and it didn't go, so I don't
Okay.
think it'd be.
Any more new business you might have? Ken?
Yeah, I got one more thing here. These are examples of, have we ordered the town vehicle decals for 2018 yet?
We have.
We have already. Okay. I had an alternative for us there that I think could have saved us quite a bit of money, but since they've already been ordered, I will pass on that one. The only other question I had is, has this town ever looked into joining the Virginia retirement system like most other area and towns in the county has done?
We have.
And what were the findings of that? I mean,
The town could not afford the makeup amounts to put our employees in that system.
so that's on like a buy-in program?
Yes.
That's all I got.
Okay.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Well, wait a minute. I want to let her go ahead and, when her husband start, I want her to finish. I want to knock
Is
you
that the
out.
way it works?
Hey, you can come up here, get this out.
Make a motion.
Do I?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
You
I
gotta talk.
appreciate your leniency with me. Trying to be too many places at too many times. The package that I have given you is, of course, a combination of the 5 meetings that we had with the consolidation of the chambers in Tazewell County. We are hoping we will be presenting all of this. Matter of fact, my counterpart is at the Tazewell Town Council tonight. We will also be attending the Tazewell County Board of Supervisors meeting with this same packet of information, as well as Bluefield and Pocahontas. We are anticipating the merger to start taking place and be activated by April 1st, impending my retirement as of June 30th. So if y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask me, call me, or whatever. I have left my business card. Call me, ask me, sit down with me, whatever. We envision this to be a very proactive, positive economic initiative for the county. And of course, also in lieu of the Princeton and the Greater Bluefield Chamber merging into the Mercer County Chamber, that will leave the upper end, lower end of our county without representation of a chamber. So that was another reason why, it was important for us to move forward in the manner that we're moving. So, any questions? If not, I look forward to talking to all of you in a little bit more personal way as we move forward.
How many years have you served?
37.
37 years.
Karen's looking for a full-time man.
Trust me, I'm gonna retire party.
They party all the time.
But thank you very much. I appreciate everything y'all have done.
Miss Singleton, come on up.
I have one more thing that I failed to mention. The Cedar Bluff Business and Professional Association would like to thank John Hatcher for looking out for the citizens of Cedar Bluff. John, we thank you every event we've had. You've always been our main supporter. Thank you so much. Let's give him a round of applause.
And John, thank you again for that financial support to the county.
Yeah, John.
Thank you again for that financial support to the county.
Oh, you're welcome. And I want to say one more thing. I don't have to come to the podium. Okay. when I was elected, the guy that was on the, over the fire departments he was on the emergency services committee. I thought it was really important to give the town a one up there. And I appointed Barry Patton to the, emergency services committee. That way he's, you know, whatever they vote on for fire protection or whatever, with money dispersed throughout the fire departments in the county, our fire chief, he has a vote on that board. So, you know, I thought that was instrumental within the fire department. I think Barry, he's my uncle, he's did a phenomenal job. And, I'll be over at your house for Thanksgiving, Barry. So, but anyways, I forgot to mention that in my little spiel.
I didn't know if the town had a Christmas dinner, but this year me and John will be there, so get a little extra.
That's right.
Thanks everybody for coming, and I hear a motion to
I
adjourn.
make a motion to adjourn.
I'll say.
Yes.
Yes.
All right, thank y'all for coming.
Homemade?
Must be that.